Hello and welcome to Wanna Be a Chef. Today we are going to make whole wheat bread. That's super easy whole wheat bread. So let's get started and know the ingredients for our whole wheat bread. For our whole wheat bread, I have taken 4 cups of wheat flour, that is the chapati atta, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. You can add honey if you prefer honey. So I'm taking 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar here, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons plus 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast, 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1/3 cup of milk powder. You can take any brand milk powder, 1 cup plus 3/4 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of bread improver. This is going to make your bread very fluffy. Even though it is a wheat bread, wheat breads are actually very dense. It is not like the normal maida bread what we get, or white bread what we buy from outside. So wheat breads are very dense, and this is going to help our dough to raise. My water is warm, so to this I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of sugar, and I'm going to dissolve the sugar. Before I add my yeast, it's not necessary to dissolve all of the sugar. After you add your yeast, anyways your sugar will dissolve. So I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons plus 1/4 teaspoon of dry yeast, and I'm going to let this prove 10 minutes. We are going to add salt to the flour, bread improver, and mix well. So we have added salt, bread improver, and now it's time to add the milk powder. So after adding everything, just give a nice mix. It's been 10 minutes now, and you can see the froth on the yeast mixture. So that means my yeast have been proved nicely. So I'm going to add my yeast mixture, which I proved. So the sugar might sit at the bottom. So just give a stir and just add the water to the dough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hand mixer. You can, if you have a stand mixer, you can use it, but I don't have a stand mixer, and I'm using a hand mixer with a dough hook attachment. So if you're kneading with hand, it's going to take a longer time, around 15 to 20 minutes, and if you're kneading using a hand mixer, it's going to take around 7 to 8 minutes, and if you're using a stand mixer, it's going to take 4 to 5 minutes. So the time varies to get a soft dough. So now we are going to add 2 tablespoons of oil, and we are going to keep 2 more tablespoons for later. If you actually use your hand mixer, you would like to give a stir, because you don't want your flour to come out of the bowl. So give a stir so that the flour is mixed with the yeast mixture. So I'm using a hand mixer, using a dough hook. I'm going to mix this. There is one more point to keep note of. Mixing is different and kneading is different. Mixing might take lesser time, but kneading will definitely take a longer time for any bread dough. So right now I'm just mixing it. My mixing process is complete. I'm going to knead this dough. So I've been kneading my dough for approximately 7 to 8 minutes. You can see it is soft. I'll do a close-up. So you can see it is soft, and almost all the dough has come out from the bowl. So now I'm going to add a tablespoon of oil, and I'm going to knead it with the hand first. So this dough is very dense, as I mentioned. As I mentioned, this dough is very dense. So what you're going to do is, we are going to put the oil, and as we do for any yeast dough, we are going to smoothen the surface of the dough, and we are going to let this prove for approximately 1 to 2 hours. Proving depends upon the climate condition around you. So at my place it is very warm, so it might take around 1 to 1.5 hours. So I'm going to put the lid and I'm going to let it prove for approximately 1.5 hours. Dough has been proving for 1.5 hours now, and you can see it has doubled in size. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly dust my surface with the flour. I'm going to roll it. I'm going to put it in the tin, that is the bread dough tin, and I'm going to let that prove again for another 40 to 45 minutes. So now I'm going to lightly dust it. So not too much of excess flour, this is all-purpose flour. And I'm going to take the dough. I'm just going to flatten this. I'm trying to make it a rectangle. So I have a 9-inch bread dough pan, which is of this size. So I'm trying to look at the size of the dough, and I'm going, depending upon the size of my tin, I'm going to roll the dough. So I'm just going to roll the dough like this. Or you can flip it because there are so many cracks. So this way, just roll the dough and see it is the size of your pan. And now turn it and close and try pinching the dough, and that will close the ends or edges. So this way. So it is all done. So I'm going to lightly grease my pan now. So we kept around 1 tablespoon of oil for greasing. I'm going to put the dough inside the pan. At this point, I'm just going to apply little oil on the top and on the sides so that my dough doesn't dry up. And I'm going to let this proof for around 45 minutes once again. So for our second proofing, we are just going to put the kitchen towel. We are not going to cover it with anything. We just want to put kitchen towel here and let this proof. So our second proofing of our bread is done. So I'm going to bake this for around 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. I'm going to apply generous amount of water to make my dough soft. My bread is just out of the oven and it's nicely baked. This is what says that your bread is baked perfectly. So now I'm going to let this cool completely before I cut into pieces. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for such interesting videos. And you can also visit me on my Facebook page, which is given in the description box. Thank you and keep watching.